Ava lost her parents at an early age and had been living with her kind and big-hearted grandfather since then. She deeply respected him, but one day, the police came and said they were arresting him. When Ava demanded to know the reason, the police said,
"Show us your phone. You've been taking pictures."
Ava's grandfather seemed completely unaware of what was happening. Why did the police come to arrest her grandfather? And what is the true nature of her kind and respectable grandfather? Police responded to a report and request to see contents of grandfather's phone, but his phone has no camera. I'm a college student living with my grandfather. I lost both of my parents in an accident when I was young, and my grandmother passed away a few years ago. My grandfather is the only family I have left, and I love and cherish him dearly. However, he was taken away by the police, and I still don't understand what's going on. I'm waiting for him to come back all by myself. The incident happened suddenly. I'm currently on winter break from college, and I'm at home every day except for my part-time job. Today, my grandfather and I were having lunch together as usual because my part-time job was off. Then suddenly the police came. I thought it was a patrol or something, but the police said something unexpected.
"Is your grandfather home?"
I thought they wanted to talk to my grandfather because I'm still a college student. "Yes, he is. Let me get him." So I called my grandfather. When the police saw him, their expression suddenly became serious.
"We received a report about you. Please show us your cell phone data."
That's what they said. I wondered why my grandfather was reported and why they needed his cell phone data. My grandfather was also stunned by the sudden incident. The police began to rush him.
"If you try to run away, the crime will be more severe. Please be honest and confess for your grandfather's sake. Do you understand?"
Then I suddenly became scared and asked my grandfather, "Grandpa, what's going on? If you did something, please tell me." But he said,
"I didn't do anything. I have no idea what's going on."
I trust my grandfather, so I thought the police might have made a mistake. That's what he says. What kind of report did you receive? I asked the police. Then they replied,
"For now, please show us the data from his mobile phone camera. You will understand when you see it."
My grandfather seemed to have judged that it would be better to listen to the police, so he handed over his cell phone with a dumbfounded expression. But the police became troubled when they saw the phone.
"How do you check for photos in this device?"
They asked, so I told them. "You can't take pictures with that phone. It's only for making calls."
"There are still phones without cameras?"
The police gave us a suspicious look, but what can we do? The phone was a matching set that my grandparents used because they didn't have a home phone, so it never had a camera from the beginning. After telling everything I know to the police, they said,
"Sir, do you have another cell phone? The person who reported the incident was really scared. Please, tell us the truth for your grandfather's sake. It might be embarrassing for her to find out, but it would be even more embarrassing if you deny it now and it comes out later."
They made assumptions like that and continued the conversation. My grandfather looked troubled and replied,
"I understand what you're saying, but I only have one cell phone. Who reported this incident? I have no idea."
He answered like that. I got really angry with the police, but I know that my grandfather is not the type of person who would be reported like that. Even so, the police kept insisting.
"We understand that you want to protect your grandfather, but can you at least try to find it? We would like to ask you to help while your grandfather stays here with us."
I tried to turn them away, but my grandfather opposed and said,
"Let's do as they say. Don't worry, there's nothing wrong."
He said that to me, so I followed his words, but I had no idea where to search. I peeked into his bag and checked all the drawers and their contents, except for one place, my grandmother's dresser, which she used while she was alive. I opened the drawer and I was shocked. There was an unfamiliar cell phone there. I couldn't hide it, so I took and went back to the police. "I found this in Grandma's dresser," I said, handing over the phone. My grandfather looked incredibly surprised. I couldn't tell if his expression was real or not.
Why would something like this be there? This isn't my phone,
he said with a serious face.
Then why did it turn up here? Anyway, let me check the contents.
The officer said so as he began to look at the newly discovered phone.
What is this?
The officer said, as he presented a large number of photos of a woman. I was at a loss for words, unable to understand the situation. Even after being shown the evidence, my grandfather continued to deny it.
I don't know anything about this. This isn't my phone.
Take a closer look. The woman in these photos is the one who reported you. She's been troubled by a stalker.
Watching the officer scold my grandfather like that, I was frightened and confused by the situation. But then, as I carefully examined the woman in the photos, I was surprised to realize that I knew her. She was my friend who had visited this house several times. In other words, my grandfather and she had met before. I couldn't help but suspect my grandfather at this point. Of course, I wanted to believe that he was not the type to stalk someone, especially considering all the good things he had done for me. But when presented with the evidence, I couldn't fully believe him, and it made me sad.
In any case, now that the evidence is here, you'll have to come with us to the station.
The police took my grandfather away saying that. Then I was left alone at home. In my trying to cool my head for now, thinking it must be a mistake, I was confused and didn't know what to do, but I decided to look for the contract of that cell phone first. The phone itself was taken by the police, so I hope something else will come up. No, I don't want anything else to come up. When I calm down, I plan to visit the girl that filed the complaint. I also know where her house is, but I haven't seen her much lately. If it's because of my grandfather that we stopped meeting, I need to apologize to her too. She was a friend I went to high school with, and we used to hang out a lot because our homes were close by. But lately, she stopped contacting me completely and even ignored me when I tried to talk to her. Thinking about that makes me even more anxious, but I'll do what I can. Ava started looking for other evidence. If she could find the contract, things would become more complicated for her, but she thought it was better than just waiting in this confusion. Directly asking her might be quicker, but Ava's reluctance to confirm can be understood. What is her grandfather's true nature after all? After that, I couldn't find the cell phone contract, so I decided to visit her. Honestly, I was scared to find out my grandfather's true nature, but I couldn't just keep waiting like that. When I went to her house, she welcomed me and we talked in her room. I told her that my grandfather had been arrested and asked whether the stalking was true.
Oh, your grandpa got arrested? That's too bad.
When I heard her first words after hearing my story, I felt something was off. What? Why are you laughing? I mean, maybe you feel relieved, but if you really had that kind of experience, I wish you had talked to me instead of reporting it. Then she told me something unbelievable.
I wasn't actually stalked. It was all a lie. I lied because I thought you would suffer if someone important to you was arrested.
I didn't understand what she meant and pressed her further. So you used my grandpa to make me suffer? But I don't understand why you would do that. Explain it to me. Then she said something I never imagined.
Don't tell me you really have no idea. You knew I had a crush on Kevin for a long time, and when he confessed to you, you started dating him. I thought we were friends, but that's so low of you.
I was even more confused. Wait, what? I don't remember hearing anything about you liking Kevin. She had used my grandfather for revenge because she thought I had taken the man she had a crush on. When I thought about how she had taken advantage of my grandfather's feelings, I couldn't help but hate her.
Do you remember the last time we saw each other? When I came to visit you at your house? I had already planned everything then. I hid my phone in your grandmother's dresser. It was a genius move, wasn't it? Even when I cried and reported it to the police, it was such a great performance. They must have thought it was serious. It's so scary how everything went so smoothly.
You mean to tell me that you set everything up? It's despicable that you would do something like this just because you didn't like Kevin and I being together. My grandpa had nothing to do with it. There was absolutely no need to involve him. And is it because I started dating Kevin that you suddenly began ignoring me? When I confronted her like this, she laughed again and said,
Yeah, that's right. But it's all your fault. You were the one who betrayed me first.
I thought she was insane. I didn't even know she liked Kevin. And even if I did, maybe it would have turned out like this because I liked him too. In fact, I had planted something before meeting with her. I had turned on the voice memo on my phone to record everything because I wanted to keep a record of it all. So, all the conversations with her were saved on my phone. I didn't expect this though. I wanted to resolve this so I knew the content of the conversation with her would be important and recorded everything. I had planned to tell her that I was recording the conversation, but when I heard her first words, I felt something was off and just kept recording silently. I left her house with a bitter face and went straight to the police. When I played the recording of the conversation with her to the police, they immediately released my grandfather. He was only in detention, so the procedures were surprisingly quick and I was relieved. I apologized to my grandfather for the whole incident.
Ava, you didn't do anything wrong. You just had the wrong friend. I'm happy that you helped me like this. But we had such an unreal experience,
he said, encouraging me in return. I couldn't believe how much I respected my grandfather. By the way, when I asked the police if there would be any punishment for Amelia, they said that what she did amounted to false accusation, a criminal offense. She called me after we got home.
Ava, help me! The police are coming to arrest me. They said it's because I lied about your grandpa and reported it to the police. I'm sorry, so come to my house now and help me drive away the police.
She said something along those lines, but it was just too convenient. I knew the police were going there, but I'm not going to help you. After all, it's your own fault for getting into this mess, using someone important to me. That's how I replied to her. She's the kind of friend who's really fickle, so I guess she'll just lie to the police or something. Besides, she acts only to hurt others without thinking ahead, and she ends up suffering herself in the end. But apparently, she can't tolerate the thought of suffering herself.
I said I'm sorry. I will never hold a grudge against you again. I absolutely don't want to be arrested. There's no way I can have a criminal record at my age, and what will happen to my life? I'll be in trouble if you don't forgive me.
She pleaded desperately. My grandpa and I both went through a really scary experience with the police over something we don't even remember doing. It's strange that only you, who set us up with your grudge, are getting away with no punishment. I just couldn't forgive her, so I rejected her like that. But even so, she must have been really scared because she tried to persuade me again and again.
I'm really sorry. I truly regret what I did from the bottom of my heart. If this isn't enough for you, I'll even kneel before you and your grandpa for forgiveness. So please, meet with me before the police take me away.
Like that, thinking that an apology would be enough was just wrong. I still couldn't bring myself to forgive her in the end. So I said it straight to her at the end. It's useless to try to persuade me. I won't withdraw the complaint. It's all your fault. It's too late to apologize now. You intended to hurt me, but you're the one suffering. We won't be meeting again. Good luck to you.
Wait, Ava! Don't say we'll never see each other again. I swear I'll never do something like this again. I really don't want to get arrested.
She seemed completely oblivious to the situation. No matter how much she apologized, my feelings wouldn't change. Maybe she couldn't accept that she was trying to escape reality even if she understood it in her head. Punishing my former friend was surprisingly difficult too, even if it was retribution. Of course, I don't regret cutting ties with her. I want her to do what's right from now on as a way to show remorse, but not in front of my grandfather or me. My grandfather doesn't lose his spirit just because he's in jail. He's energetic as usual, maybe to not worry me. I feel really sorry for what I involved him in, but I can't help but be grateful to him.
There's nothing for you to be sorry about, Ava. It's all Amelia's fault for having bad thoughts. And Kevin, he might have seen through her personality. If I were Kevin, I would definitely choose you, Ava.
He encouraged me like that. I have to learn from that kind of generosity too. I still can't forgive Amelia, but I'll secretly support her rehabilitation. I hope Amelia reflects on what she has done and turns over a new leaf. Ava regained her original happy life by cutting ties with her.